Hi everyone and welcome to Homerino Collectibles, where today I'm going to be doing a review for the Marvel Legends Infinite Series Toys R Us exclusive X-Men Wolverine. Now this is the only figure in the wave that does not come with a Build-A-Figure piece for Jubilee. As you can see on the back here, you do need everyone else in the wave to complete your Jubilee figure. Now, as you can see, this is the promo shot of it on the back, whereas on the front we have a much more detailed version. And I have the Wolverine that this is essentially a variant of from the Wolverine Puck Wave of Marvel Legends to compare with this, so you'll see a full comparison in this review. So for the box we have the X on the top, and we have a nice picture of Wolverine on the side. And then here is a quick bio if you want to go ahead and read that. So I like that they have used this kind of a bio with his healing factor and everything being compromised, like as it puts it there, and that we haven't just got like a very generic Wolverine thing, you know, his name is Logan and blah blah blah. You know, I like that they've kind of doing it as if you kind of already know who Wolverine is and you're now seeing this new kind of storyline of it. I really like that, but that's pretty much it for the box, so let's get this thing open and do some quick comparisons with the old Wolverine. And here he is out of packaging and next to the older version of himself. So normally variants come out at least in the same wave of one another, so obviously this is a direct variant of that costume. He obviously just doesn't have his mask on, he has it just around his neck there, and they've added a few bits of detail that were missing on this figure, which is great. Not too sure how well it would look if you could get the heads to come off and put, swap them over, because this yellow is still the lighter yellow, so I guess it would work. I mean, you could try and put in some shading yourself in there to make it, work a lot better with this slightly darker style yellow right here. I'm not too sure exactly how well that would go. I'm not even sure how easy it would be to pull the heads off, but for the most part I really do still like this figure. I think that it's great even though it's missing the obvious X on the belt and the chest and whatnot, but we'll get to that in a second. First of all, I'm just going to quickly go over things like articulation and stuff in case you haven't seen this video. FYI, this is actually the most popular Marvel Legends review on my channel, so I'd just like to thank everyone who did go and watch this thing. But we're just going to quickly show off what this thing can do. So before I start, I just want to say that this figure was extremely tight. I mean, I don't normally get many Marvel Legends figures that are like really tight to the point where you kind of feel like you're going to break it. A lot of older Toy Biz figures you'll find are like that just because they've been in the same pose in the packaging for so long. Either Toy Biz figures usually are really loose because of their age, or they're really tight because of their age. But modern figures, they don't tend to be like that, but this one was. Like, I have a little bit of stress right here. It's not anything major, it's just because it was really tight. So now that it's loosened up, that's not going to be a problem. I'll just heat that up and then that'll take that white off. It's, as you can see, it's really small anyway, so it doesn't really matter too much. But yeah, I mean, I found that to be really tight. The other shoulder was a little bit in the armpit joint as well. This one's a little bit looser, as you can see. And the head was actually tight to move up and down, but that's moving freely now too. It was just very strange that it was so tight. But anyway, as you can see, the head does go up and down. It also moves left and right. The cowl here is kind of loose, so if you count that as articulation, then there you go. The arms do a full 360. They move up and down at the shoulder. They also have the armpit joint. This is all the Series 6 Wolverine body, just like the old one was, obviously, and whatnot, and many Wolverines since then. And just so you know, I have actually recently got that from eBay, so expect that review coming up soon, and a lot of other Wolverines too. I'm going to do an eBay pickups video sometime soon just to show everything off. So then we also get a swivel at the bicep. We have double jointed arms here at the elbow, and then the wrist rotates. The hand goes up and down. I have seen a lot of pictures of these claws removed, so I'm guessing that you can just kind of pull them out, but on my older one they weren't loose in any way, shape or form. These ones, these two on the end, or these two, sorry, you can actually move them quite a lot actually, so kind of strange. Not too sure if you're supposed to be able to just pull them out. If you are, then that's great, but if you're not, then I don't really like the fact that they are that loose. They do stay in line. It's only if I move them that they kind of sit lower, but it's just kind of strange. And then at the diaphragm joint here, you get a decent ab crunch. He also moves slightly left and right, but less than on the older Toy Biz ones. They had a proper rock. He can also move left and right there like so, and he also has a waist joint which was actually solid on my other one, because as you can see there's a little bit of blue paint splodge down there, and that's actually joining the two. And then down here at the hips they move out all the way, really awesome, really nice. And then we have a forward and backward movement, and then we also have a rotation at the thigh, double jointed knees, rotation at the boot, and then we also have up, down, and some awesome ankle pivot at the feet with some peg holes. Now, to get into the differences, one thing that this was lacking, like, I think that this is one of the best ever Wolverine figures. I think that it was an awesome updated design. I think that they pulled off the paint and everything really, really well. I love the sculpt. The size of the claws I think are perfect, because obviously if the claws are longer than his forearms, it's just not practical, it doesn't work and whatnot. So that's why I like the slightly shorter claws that we get here compared to older Wolverines, because they're actually technically the right length. But the only thing that he was missing was a bit of shading on the yellow. It's not the brightest ever yellow that we've seen for a Wolverine figure, but still, if you see yellow, it really could do with some shading if it's plain. And also we're obviously missing the X's, which doesn't matter too much if you're using him in some kind of Avengers display or just something else, but you know, in the comics he's never without his X as far as I know, so it should be there. And they did actually use it on Cyclops on his chest, just like this is here on the chest. It's actually pretty much the exact same X as well that was used on Cyclops, so to this day pretty much no one is really sure why they didn't do that, unless they were just trying to cheap out of a very small amount of paint. But they have included it here, and they've also included it on the belt, which is absolutely fantastic, and they're done really well. Now the main differences are, obviously we have now the cowl, which is reused from Daken, and then we have this new Logan head sculpt, which I think is one of their best ones yet. Love the fact that we've got a normal facial expression, so looks great for combat poses and whatnot, but also for just standing poses, so that's perfect. And also the fact that he's not in some kind of gruesome growl or something means that they can't really get a lot of the paint wrong on him and get all teeth mangled up and whatnot, which is fantastic. And as you can see, the paint is done absolutely perfectly on there. No detail in the hair apart from the actual moulded in detail, but it still looks really, really good. As you can see, I have a bit of blue just on the side there, not looking too great. You can kind of see some blue showing through in the joints on the arms there, but that's not too bad. And then just on the end of the cowl here, if we can get some focus, you might be able to see it. It looks as if it's just touched the box when it was wet or something, so it's just a little bit of mishap there. And I guess you could call that a bit of a mishap as well. So, you know, but the same thing with every figure. Nothing is absolutely perfect. But for the most part, the paint scheme is better than this version. So, just like the all-new X-Men box set, we actually have this slightly darker yellow going on here with a kind of orange shading on there, which looks really fantastic. It really, really works so well. Even the blue is, well, I don't know. I think it's the same blue, but it's just put over a slightly darker yellow, so it makes it look kind of different, but I think it is actually the same blue, because on the shoulder pieces there, they look exactly the same. And then on the chest, this one looks darker, so it must just be because that's over the yellow. Now, as you can see, because this is a bit of a brighter figure, although I will reiterate, it's not too bright, so if you're looking at this and thinking it's too bright of a yellow in comparison to this, don't worry, it's really not. There are pretty much all older Wolverines are lighter than this guy, so I still do think this is a fantastic figure, do not get me wrong. But because it's slightly brighter, I guess that's why they've used this slightly darker skin tone. Whereas with this one, I guess because they've put more shading in there and they still want that contrast, they've gone for a lighter skin tone, and then they've actually, as you can see, there's no detail on this, whereas because they've got a lighter skin tone, it enables them to then put more detail in and put some nice hair in there, which is absolutely fantastic. So I think that it is a really great Wolverine if you want to go for this one, because it's going to be pretty cheap, I guess. It's still pretty cheap. It's an awesome mold, fantastic articulation, so I would definitely recommend this as a Wolverine figure if you want it as a modern X-Men display. And I would definitely recommend this as an unmasked one. Is this better than that for any way? I would say no, not really. I think they're pretty equal. Although that misses the obvious X that you really think it should have, it obviously is the masked version. So if you were going to get a Wolverine, I can't recommend this, because if you're going to recommend something, you want it to be the proper costume, so you'd want it to actually have the mask on. So I would 100% recommend both of these figures. I'd recommend that you buy this if you want just one Wolverine in your collection, and you don't want to go for an older figure. If you want just one Logan, I guess I'd recommend this. Yes, I do wish that had the X's. I don't care about the extra paint detail. I know it's really nice on here, like with the hair on the arms and everything. I really do like all that, but I don't care too much, because you're not really going to see it on the shelf anyway. I mean, look at the pose that I have him in. I don't even see the side of his arms, so I don't care about that. So yeah, I mean, it just depends really. It's definitely a figure that you can pass on if you want to build your Jubilee figures with spending the least amount of money, because you don't even need this at all to build your Build-A-Figure. And if you already have that, then that's no trouble. But if you're looking for a cheap Wolverine and you go past a Toys R Us and you can maybe find this guy on sale in a few months or something, I'd still recommend that you definitely pick this thing up. So as a quick size comparison, this Wolverine, as I said, it's a really great sculpt. He does stand a little tiny bit smaller than your average Marvel Legends figure, so that's fantastic. So that's it for the review, guys. Thanks for watching. Let me know in the comments what you think about this figure. Is it a waste of time? Is it better than the other Wolverine that we've seen in this video? Do you like it at all? Just let me know what you think about it. Check me out on Instagram and Twitter, where I post pictures of my collection and new things that I buy and things like that. It's Homerino123 for both. And subscribe if you want to see more Marvel Legends reviews, and especially the rest of this wave. So thanks for watching, guys. Next up it is Cyclops and then the Build-A-Figure Jubilee. So I'll see you next time.